On weekends and after school, malls are often flooded with teens and preteens who are just hanging out. But a growing number of them are crowding makeup stores and counters, leaving behind a mess as they sample products. While that is angering adults, there's also concern over the growing trend of so-called skincare kids who are seemingly obsessed with the expensive soaps, creams, and treatments.
Viral clips have been going around of kids going in Sephora making a big mess.
Yes, it's a thing, and some TikTokers are documenting the problem online. It would seem packs of preteens are flocking to Sephora and using all the samples.
These 10-year-olds are crazy. Like, literally the most feral. I was a camp counselor. The Sephora kids are different than any type of kids.
Now, beyond their behavior, there's concern over their use of these products in the first place. Tweens are becoming a target for skincare companies and spending a lot of money, or likely their parents' money in the process. Many are seemingly mirroring the get ready with me videos they see online.
Gen Alpha was literally born with a smartphone in their hand. And so the access to watching influencers on platforms like TikTok.
And some parents are seemingly on board with their kids' expensive skincare routines.
If she can learn to take care of it in a good, healthy way, then I'm okay with it.
Some dermatologists warn some of these products aren't suitable for teens.
It's gentle. It needs gentle skincare. Keep it basic. What's happening is they're using products that break down the skin barrier and cause rashes, irritation, acne even, where they never had a problem.
If kids do want to use some form of facial protection, it's recommended they keep it simple.
Cleanser, oil-free moisturizer, lip balm, and SPF. That's all they need.
And frankly, that's all I use. But okay, so do you think that it's a concerning trend, or is it just harmless? 55.1% of you say it is concerning. Only 44.9% of you say it's harmless. Okay, let's take this to our debaters. Let's bring back Domanique and Rita. Rita, we'll start with you on this one. What do you think? Is it concerning?
I do believe it's concerning because it comes down to this influence, and social media is doing this. And this could be setting up a lot of young girls with issues that'll follow them well into adulthood. It's like, body image issues. Now it's skin image issues. It all goes down to, how do I look on social media? Can I top the next person? Frankly, I would be very annoyed if I was spending good money in a Sephora. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Sephora, but obviously it's a new trend that they're calling it, the Sephora kids. Mm-hmm. And two, what are we doing to these young girls, their minds? I remember I was 10 years old. It sounds really weird, but we were discussing issues. Things like the teachings of Dr. King, and I was 10 years old, and I was more interested in that. I was interested in history and reading, and outside of my world, I was not, are we bringing up a generation of narcissistic little people? And there is a danger in that. But I do believe it comes down to this. If we set young girls up, and not just young girls, young boys too, with body image issues, and that includes skin care issues, then we really do have a problem on our hands. So no, I think they should be stopped. The moment you go into a store and they're making a mess, out. Politely, but out. And please don't put our products on social media. We are defined by, we're good for our name and our brand. So that's my concern. I am a little older, of course, and I've seen this happen. So I totally agree with not having, unless you're a company owner, unless you're on your best behavior, please, we don't need you to come in and make a mess and then put yourself on social media to show everybody how great you look. That's how I feel.
Domanique, what do you think?
I think it's obvious that there are many problems surrounding self-esteem, surrounding how young girls are marketed to, surrounding messages, surrounding social media, surrounding images, surrounding body positivity. This is nothing new. This has always been the case. And I think that companies know this and they're very good at it. Do I think that making the age limit 18 in a place like Sephora or increasing, I think that's not productive. The main reason is young girls are going to get things that they want regardless of if you set an age limit or not. I think that we need to create a space where we say you can go into these stores and you need to have this behavior. I know that when I was a preteen, I wasn't going into makeup stores. And so I also think that this is something that parents need to be speaking to their children about. I think the problem, a part of the problem is Sephora, but the other problem is if you are giving your children the liberty of saying you can have whatever skincare products you want and you can use it in whatever way you want, and I'm not going to have basic conversations about how you go into stores and how you behave, then you're often going to get children that are going into stores and that are doing horrendous things. And I'm not only blaming parents, because it's clear that children don't always act the same way around their family members. But I think that the point of this is for us to say there are self-esteem issues and young girls are being marketed to in the wrong way and we're not going to let them into stores under this age. That's not going to solve the problem. You need to allow people to be in environments and they need to know how to behave. Do we have an issue with social media and self-esteem? We absolutely do. Is that just a product of makeup companies? Absolutely not. The nature of social media creates self-esteem issues. So I think we need to talk about, how do we redirect the conversation? How do we teach young girls to be in stores like Sephora, to be able to look at products, to appreciate them, and to not feel like they have to use them? How do we change the conversation away from you're using too much and you're going onto these social media platforms and you're feeling like you have to how can you look at some of these children of large celebrities who are helping to shape the culture of younger girls, and how can we teach them to look at these videos and to say, I don't need to be that person? I think the problem isn't Sephora. I think the problem is our mentality and how we teach young
Viral
girls
clips have been going
self-confidence.
around.
If we can teach them to have their own way of thinking, if we can teach them how to behave in stores, that would be a different thing. And then the other thing, I think that we need to allow customer service representatives we need to give them a little more leniency and power to be able to put their foot down in spaces. I think that if young girls are going into stores and they're messing up samples in Sephora, I grew up going into Sephora. I love their products and samples are important. But if I saw a group of young girls coming into a store and doing crazy things, I absolutely think that stores like Sephora need to allow their customer service representatives to have a little more power to put their foot down and to make sure that the children are doing that. So,
yeah. On the issue, Rita, of kids, in this case young girls, going to makeup a little too soon, let's say, before they're of an age that everybody feels comfortable with, is this sort of the new moral panic that we've had in the past, or just of this generation? And I say that because, the generation before would go to Claire's and get lip smackers and that sort of a thing, and there was always a little bit of playing with makeup, like a lip balm. Or do you think that we have gone one step too far here, Rita?
I think it's a lot more noticeable due to social media. And yeah, every generation has their, their trends and things like that. But what is going to happen in the future? Like, I could see these young girls thinking, I need Botox by the time I'm 16, because that's the messaging out there. So, this is not news per se. Like, every generation encounters these issues, but I think they're being accelerated. And frankly, it's a privilege. It really is a privilege to go into a store, and because cosmetics, makeup, skincare, it's a very intimate product when you think about it. So there is, are we following in the footsteps of the past? I do see that, but it's accelerated, and it's bigger than we've seen it. And I do believe if you have a little girl thinking at 10 years old that I need a really good skincare regime, when really all you need is a bar of Dove soap, does the exact same thing, then we have a problem. I think this is bigger than going into Sephora and making a mess. And I think the whole mess issue is to be heard on social media. But I think it's a communication issue with the family. Whoever your family is, it's heart to heart. And that's what is needed. Or else you will have a whole generation in 10 years' time that are going to be really screwed up because of this. That's how I feel.
Domanique, I can give you the last 30 seconds here, Domanique.
I mean, I think we are headed in the direction of we have contouring now, we have AI makeup tools where young girls can just go online and hit a button and a filter makes their faces look perfect. I think that products in Sephora are just allowing them to replicate what they're seeing online. That's not going away. It's going to get more advanced. And the way that we address this is we need to make sure that we are teaching young girls a little differently. We're not just going to not let them go into spaces, but we need to educate them on how to operate in these spaces and how to think for themselves and how to think a little more critically, and also how to behave. They should not be going into stores like this and messing up products the way that they are, and parents need to be having better conversations with their children to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and hopefully those conversations include maybe not needing to go to those stores just yet, because at that age, hey, I don't know if you need makeup or not.